بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
أعوذ من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I'm sorry not being able to speak in German. I studied 6 years in Switzerland, and my first PhD was on Nietzsche's philosophy, and I lost everything. So this is the first thing to take, which is not my example for getting a language you have studied at school. And unfortunately, I'm obliged to speak in English. I was asked to speak about, do we have to speak about being European Muslims or being Muslims in Europe? And I think it's not by accident. 15 years ago, when I first wrote a book to be a European Muslim, I got some reactions from my fellow Muslims saying, no, you have to say being a Muslim in Europe. And I say, no, I am a European by culture, I am a Muslim by religion, I am a European Muslim. So it's not to be a Muslim somewhere else. This is home for me, and this is home for you, and this is home for us. As an introduction, I think it's really important to face the reality of being Muslims in European Muslims in our countries. And I heard, of course, that your situation in Austria may be better than others in other European societies. Still, if you look at what is going on now in the media and the mainstream media and media TV channels around the world, and especially in Europe, what we have to say is that the coverage of Islam and Muslims is mainly negative. So the perception the people around have on Islam and Muslims is negative, and we are facing this every day. Just arriving here, reading in a newspaper, a UK newspaper, The Times, an article saying the problem is not with radical Muslims, the problem is with Islam itself, because radical Muslims are in fact following the true message of Islam. You know that we have far-right parties, and something which has been normalized in the discourse in Europe about this. So the Muslims have two choices. The first one is to say, okay, look, the people around us don't like Muslims and they don't like Islam, and to nurture something which is a victim mentality. They don't like us, they don't like Islam, let us be among ourselves, to withdraw into ourselves and to be Muslims far from the society. This is the wrong answer. This is exactly what far-right parties want in our European society. What we have to do. Could I ask you something? As I have only 20-25 minutes, avoid uploading during the discourse and then at the end if you want. Because you are taking of my time, I will not be able to say whatever I want to say. Thank you. Now, so what I wanted to say is that what the Muslims should do is to refuse the victim mentality. It's not a question to be liked or not to be liked. It's a question of rights, it's a question of understanding, it's a question of self-respect. It's to stand up for our responsibilities as citizens, as Muslims, and to say, look, we are not going to accept you to target, you to promote a new racism. It's now time to live together, to respect each other, and to know each other. So to stand up for our responsibilities, the only right Islamic and positive answer the Muslims should promote, and not the victim mentality which is sometimes around in the Muslim communities in Europe. The second point is that what we have now normalized in the discourse is people coming to you and saying, you Muslims and us as Europeans. This us versus them, it's not acceptable. I am part of this new us. I'm not outside Europe. It's us as Europeans and us as Europeans, Muslims, atheists, Jews, Christians, and whatever you want to be, you are European. So it's okay. I won't get it. So the problem here is to say, look, it's a question of common values and common citizenship. And be careful, because still now, even though you are less advanced as to the history of the Muslim presence in Austria, as for example in France or in the two ahead countries in Europe with, decades of Muslim presence, we still have people saying, you have to integrate. And I think that we have to be cautious with the concept of integration, because people are nurturing this, you have to integrate, you have to integrate, nurturing in their own minds and in our minds that to be integrated still means that you are not part of us. So we are waiting for you to be part of us. What we have to say, we are sorry, we are already integrated. Our main concern today is not to be integrated, it's to contribute to the future of our society. So we don't dare now. Integration is a word of the past. The word of the future and the word of the present is contribution. What could we give as citizens, Austrian citizens, European citizens to our country? Stop talking about integration, talk about living together, acting together, contributing together for the sake of our common future. So the last point is really something that we have to say. Maybe some don't want to listen to this. Islam is a European religion. Islam is part of the European landscape. By the way, it's not new. For all the people who now are building a new past to Europe and saying, we want to talk to you as people coming from outside, we have to tell them, look, you have to revisit your own past. Because it's not true that the European history is only based on Greco-Roman and Judeo-Christian legacy. It's wrong. The past of Europe is Judeo-Christian Islamic, and we are part of Europe for a long time. So what we are trying to do with our presence is to reconcile yourself with your own past, because by having a selective approach of your past, you are not building a pluralistic present. So this is something which is really important, and this is our business to come to something which should be important in our curriculum in the schools. We have to integrate this past as part of the European legacy. If you put us outside your past, it means that you have difficulties to consider us as part of your present. So we have to take this as something which is a deep challenge. What I want to say is now not only to speak about our fellow citizens, but as we are here as a very impressive gathering of the Muslim community, the Austrian Muslim community, is to come to something with, from within, what do we have to say to ourselves to come from a victim mentality to our responsibilities as Austrian Muslims or European Muslims? I want to share with you the promotion of 7 C's. 7 C's. The first one, which is really important, is confidence. The second one is criticism, critical mind. The third one is communication. The fourth one is contribution. The sixth one is citizenship. And the last one is creativity. Let me go very quickly through all this and share with the Muslims here, the young and the not so young Muslims, something which should be heard by our fellow Europeans, your fellow Austrian citizens, in order to build the future together. The first one, which is really important, if now you don't get this confidence that you are at the same time, fully Muslim and fully Austrian, and there is no contradiction between being a Muslim and being an Austrian, and you are at peace with yourself, you will not spread peace around you. فَاقِدُ الشَّيْءِ لَا يُعْطِي, as we say in Arabic, if you don't get something, you cannot give it. So the point here is to be confident with our own values. The Islamic values are not minority values. When I'm speaking about human dignity, when I am speaking about justice, when I am speaking about equality, when I am speaking about shared values, when I'm saying and understanding what I heard, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to the Prophet, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. We sent you as a mercy, but as a mercy for the world, not only for Muslims, not only to be isolated, but something which is a universal message for yourself and to share this message with others. Meaning what? To convert the people? No, to share our values, because the relationship between us and all the non-Muslims is mutual knowledge and shared values. Because this is the main teaching of Islam. If God had willed, He would have made you one community. وَلَوْ شَاءَ اللَّهُ لَجَعَلَكُمْ أُمَّةً وَاحِدًا. He wanted diversity, and to tackle diversity is the only way for you is mutual knowledge, mutual respect, which is more than tolerance. More than tolerance. Tolerating someone, you can tolerate someone without knowing him. You cannot respect me if you ignore me. Respect is out of mutual knowledge. So come to that level of mutual knowledge to get mutual respect. This is why we think that we have a role here to play, which is our message is universal, and we find universal common values with Christianity, with Judaism, with atheism, with secular society. These are our values. So when you come and we speak as Europeans and as Muslims, we don't speak as a minority obsessed with its own rights. We speak as citizens sharing majority values. And this is the way to get this confidence the Muslims should understand and should get, which is really important. I think that this is part of what the Muslims should understand, and not to accept all this business of people telling you, you as a minority, you have to integrate, you are part of us. This is an obsession, putting you outside your society and thinking of you as, okay, I am alien to this society. No, I am at home, and these values are my values, and I am sharing this with you. So confidence is really the first thing to promote as a European Muslim, which is really important. And meaning by that we are facing today what I call an ideology of fear. People spreading fear, and with fear, suspicion, and with suspicion, targeting new kind of racism. We have to refuse that. This racism is something that we are not going to accept. It's a question of mutual respect and rights. The point here is really to act against the fear. And to do that, it's really important also to promote something which is a critical mind. I want to tell the Muslims here, all the Austrian Muslims and their fellow citizens, we need to come with something which is a critical mind. In Islam, it's not only a question of deep faith. It's not only to say, I believe in God. This is right, I believe in God. But I make up my mind. I think, I try to understand when I live, and I am listening to the question of the people around me. And we have to understand that some people around us are genuine in the question they ask Muslims. Because they are asking questions, it doesn't mean that they are against Muslims. There are people asking wrong questions to Muslims because they want to target the Muslims. But you have around you many fellow Austrian people asking good questions, and they need answer because they are scared. Let me tell you something. If you are an average Austrian citizen and you watch TV, if you are not scared of Muslims, you are not normal. You are not normal, because what is spread around about Islam is just scary. It's scary. Violence, discrimination, isolation, us versus them, killing innocent people. We need to come with a critical mind, being able to say, these are the Islamic values we promote, but some Muslims are acting against these values in the name of Islam, and we have to be critical. Self-criticism is something which is really important. The people need to have Muslims able to say our values and to also be critical when some Muslims are doing things that are wrong. Let me give you an example. In Islam, racism is prohibited, there is no racism accepted in Islam, come to the ground and come to look and assess what is going on within the Muslim communities, and you can see that there is sometimes a kind of racism against the black people, between the Turkish and the Arabs. We have to say critical mind means in the name of Islam we have to act against racism. This is something which is important. The second, and very often we are asked about this, and I want to say this because it's essential for us. Many Muslims are saying in Islam women are respected and the human rights are respected. That's true. There is nothing in Islam against women. But let me tell you, and we have all to say this, which is the reality of it, within the Muslim communities there are things done by Muslims against women, promoting discrimination, that have nothing to do with Islam, but they are done in the name of Islam. So what we have to say is that we don't accept that. Sometimes it's important to come with clear discourse and to be able to say forced marriages, domestic violence, this and female circumcision, these are not Islamic principles and they are done by Muslims, and as Muslims we have to say we are against this because this is not promoting our values. This is critical mind. This is a deep faith in our principles, but also critical mind. Meaning also that as citizens, you know, very often I come to country, and it happened with some journalists right now. They came to me and they say, you know, which is the best country in Europe as to the Muslim presence? And I was told just when arriving, you know, in Austria is better than in Germany. And when I am in UK, I'm told it's better than in France. And when you go to France, it's better than in UK. What is this business? I don't care. I don't care which is the best model. The only thing which cares, the only thing which is important, is when you are in Austria, you sit down as a citizen with your fellow citizen, and you say, okay, what are the Austrian values? What are we promoting as Austrian, the democratic Austrian citizens? We are promoting equal citizenship. We are promoting no discrimination in the job market. We are promoting no racism. This is all what we are promoting. These are Austrian values. That's fine. Let us now come to the ground and compare the practices, the values and the practices. This is the only thing which is important. Are you acting in Austria in the name of your values, or are they contradictions? If they are contradictions, let us reform the situation. But don't compare to find yourself well. Don't compare Austria with Germany. Compare Austria with Austria. This is the only way which is important. This is the critical mind. So, as an Austrian citizen, if I were an Austrian citizen, I would come here and say, okay, the politicians are saying no discrimination in the job market. But we all know that sometimes when you have an Arab name or a Pakistani name, it's difficult to get a job. So let us act all as citizens here and say this is not acceptable according to the Austrian values. This is what we have to do. Don't go to speak about the Germans, speak about your reality. This is what we have to do. This is also critical mind which is needed. This is to be confident in our values. Quickly then, something which is important. What you are doing here by inviting politicians and the civil society is something which is needed. We need communication. We know in this time of globalization, there is lots of information but with no communication. You got lots of information in a very short period of time, but there is no communication. We don't take time to communicate. We don't take time to sit down with the people and to explain. How could you hope that the Austrian people are going to change their mind about Islam if the Muslims are totally invisible and they don't speak? How could you be understood if you don't make yourself understandable? And I think that the Muslims now should be communicating more, speaking, as I said, confident in their value, also self-critical towards some behaviors. We spoke right now about what happened 5 years ago in America, and then in Madrid, and then in London. Muslims should be here in this country and to say, we condemn all this, because this is not only non-Islamic, it's anti-Islamic. We don't accept any kind of terrorism, because this is not our value. This is what we are saying. And then to come and also to speak, to be able to say, look, by speaking we are spreading mutual knowledge, and by mutual knowledge, mutual respect, and by mutual respect, building the common future. Muslims must communicate more, and this is a call for the young Muslims. You have to speak. You are Austrian citizen. You have to stand up and to be able to say who you are, what you want, and how you work. The people are asking for that. If you disappear, they are building the story. If you speak, they are listening to your story. So this is the way forward, inshallah. Two main points, and I will end. And I want to thank the organizers for this invitation. And really, it's impressive to see so many people coming to this. You know, we have to talk, but we have to communicate. Can I give you an example? If you look at the French team, the French football team, you know the story about Zinedine Zidane. Let me speak about him just before the last story. Just during the last 10 years, what he was doing at that level in sport was, first, he was proud to be, and he still was proud to be, and is proud to be who he is. No problem with this. He was French, and he was working and acting and playing for France. So he was saying, I'm a Frenchman, I'm a French citizen. But what he was doing for the French team was, he was giving something to the French team. He was putting goals, he was helping to play well. When you give something to your team, nobody is coming to ask you, where do you come from? They are so happy to have you with them that they don't want about your past. When you are a problem, or where you are perceived as a problem, say, okay, where do you come from? You are a problem for me. But when you give, come on, come in. When you create a problem, you are perceived and we are asked, where do you come from? What the Muslims and the Austrian Muslims and the European Muslims should do is to give something, is to be here and to be active for the better. Meaning what? Not only to speak. What we need today is Muslim, is Austrian citizens, men and women, working for more social justice, for more dialogue between the people, for a pluralistic society. So you have to be involved in society, in civil society, not only in Islamic organizations, in every single organization promoting the principles you have when it comes to no racism, no discrimination, and to vote, to be citizen. You have to tell the people around you the best way to be a good citizen and a good Muslim in this country is to vote and to be active in your society. So this is contribution. And to go out of our intellectual ghetto, our cultural ghetto, our religious ghetto. Let me ask you something. For the last months, the Muslims who are in this room and the non-Muslims who are in this room, how many people, not from your background, not from your religion, not from your legacy, have you met and worked with during the last months? Ask yourself, are you sitting with people who are not coming from your own background, your own religion? If you don't do this, you are not building a pluralistic society. You speak about it, but you expect it to happen without you. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So it means that the Muslims who are here should go out of the intellectual ghetto. But we also have to say this to our fellow citizens. You speak about pluralism, you speak about freedom. Why are you always speaking about this around yourself, among yourself, not with us? We are part of you, you are part of us. So let us come together. Let us go out of our intellectual and cultural ghetto. Because there are places in our countries now, when you have white people together, not so white people together, black people together, coming from the same religion, and we speak about pluralism. It's not pluralism, it's a patchwork of community, it's a structured ghettos. Structured ghettos not going to help for the future. So let us come to this, and the Muslims have to do this, have to go out and to come. And please, about this business of identity, the people are coming now everywhere in Europe, and they are asking us, are you first a Muslim or are you an Austrian? Who are you first? And some Muslims want to be proud and say, I am a Muslim first. And some other who are scared, I am an Austrian. They don't know how to. This is a stupid question. Don't answer this stupid question. I'm not one thing, I'm many things. And if you ask me my identity, and this is something which is, I have multiple identities, I don't only have one. And as for my example, I am Muslim by religion, Swiss by nationality, European by culture, Egyptian by memory, Universalist by principle. I'm all this. Welcome to multiple identities. Don't accept the people to put you in one box. You have multiple, you are open to the world. This is the message that we have to promote. This is the message of our citizenship, and this is the message of our religious commitment as well, which is a universal one. So this is something which is what we have to promote out of our citizenship, but being involved in our society by showing the good example. You know, at the end of the day, we have to come to a very simple verse of the Quran helping us to understand. وَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. We have made you a community of the middle path. Why? Why are you the community of the middle path? In order for you to be witness to your message before the people. Be a witness. When the people are looking at you, they must see in you people trying to be consistent with their values. To be witness. This is what you are to do. You are coming to do here. You are not coming to convert the people. You cannot convert the people. It's not of your business. This is God's business. Your business is to be a witness, to be a man or a woman acting in the name of his or her principles and contributing for the better of the society. Last point, and this will be my conclusion, which is an important point. The Muslims today lack creativity. What we need today is, you have your principles, that's fine. You have your citizenship, that's fine. But what we need today is Muslims, men and women, coming with a creativity to think about new ways, to think about, you know, we are speaking about culture. Tonight you will have Sami Yusuf coming, and he's trying something which is in the name of its principle, our principles, trying to promote something which is an alternative culture. The mass culture is something that we are all here around, and sometimes we love something we don't decide to love. And we have ethics, we have principles. What we have to do is also to promote something which is a creative alternative culture. Creativity is missing. Muslims are scared to come with creative approaches at the social level, in the cultural level. This is something which is needed. Muslims should come back to something which is open your mind, come with creativity, find new ways, be creative in the social ground as well as in the political ground and the cultural one. So we need something which is not only to repeat and to repeat and to repeat what was done. There is a lack of intellectual creativity, of cultural creativity, and this is all the Muslims and the young Muslims should promote here as Europeans. And the future will be a European Islamic culture, faithful to the principles and creative and adapted to the European culture. At the end, you are Austrian by culture, you are Muslim by religion, and you must find a way to be confident as to your identity. Be the people of confidence and be the people of contribution, and go out and speak with the politicians, speak with the social workers, speak with everyone of goodwill in this society and say, our common future is our common hope, and this is a new we. We need to create a new we. You, as an Austrian, me as an Austrian, with our backgrounds, with our religions, but to build this new we in the name of our common future. Not us versus them. We in the name of something. No, we for justice. We for acting against racism. Let us come to this. And this is the Islamic message. It's not going to be easy. It is not going to be easy. You have people who are building their political agenda by saying them, by saying they are the threat, they are the danger. Be part of the society, refuse this discourse. But the only way to refuse this discourse is not to put yourself on the margin. This is exactly what they want. Come in the mainstream, be part of the society, and show them by being in the center that they are not going to accept them to put you in the margin. This is the message of Islam, this is the message of European Muslims, and this is, inshallah, your message. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين. محمد سيد الكونين والثقلين والفريقين من عرب ومن عجم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. أوذيت في الله لم تهزم ولم تهني. أوذيت في الله لم تهزم ولم تهني حتى غادت أمة الإسلام في النجوم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. مولاي صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. حبيب الله رسول الله إمام المرسلين.